Boy just sprinting across the street. Just got ran over. You ever hear the car zooming by hella fast to the side? You got to get there first. You got the right of way though. I just don't want to abuse that power. If I'm honest. Trying to remember what I wrote specifically. I'm gonna say it to myself so that way I can remember. Community, disruptions, trauma, and dead zones. I believe that's what I wrote in the title. And like I said, I'm trying to do as many as I can per day, every day, as much as I can per day, every day. And when I get to the, before I get to the little downhill part, I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at. Because I say all that to say I might walk through a dead zone as well. You know, I got my windows up on the phone, at least like the app windows. So if I need to swap stuff out, if I lose audio and visual, I can swap back and forth. You understand me? But starting to understand, you know, like I say this all the time. I've been saying this in lives all the time. World, what's going on, world? I've been telling you this all the time. The whole community aspect, man. Community aspect is very important, you know. And I've always leaned on individuals, but I'm at the age and point now, based on experience, where like the communities themselves are starting to lean on me. So I like that I'm being trusted. I don't want to. I'm in a great, healthy headspace to not abuse that power. So you know, not saying that I'm in a. I don't think I'm a responsible person. I don't want to be a sole role moderator, leader in these spaces necessarily, but I appreciate and I love the love that I'm getting. You understand? And I have to accept that for what it is too. It's an interesting state to be in. So what did I say? Community disruptions, trauma, and dead zones. It's something I want to kind of just harp on today. Like I said, I was live earlier, but we're keeping it living, keeping it live right now, keeping it living. You know, I'm gonna stand on the island. Let me stand on the island. Let me show you what it's looking like. Nice up here, man. Middle class kind of joint up in here. According to Aaron Dixon and others that used to grow up in the spot in the area. You know what I'm saying? According to them. Older heads, older OGs. Real G's putting it down. But up here, it's always been nice. It's always been great that way. We go mob into the valley. Shout out to the valley. You know what I'm saying? Shout out them boys, man. A lot of them people moved out. A lot of them people moved out. I only know a handful realistically. That's how it is in every space. You know, back to the community conversation, that's how it is in every space. Sarah, thank you for being here. Sarah Lambert, shout out to you. Zachariah, I think. I just didn't see an H. Am I reading that right? I got a little glare in there. Sorry, my camera. So I'm like looking up and down. Zachariah and Sarah, thank you for dropping in. Appreciate it. Much love, appreciation. We're just talking about community, disruptions, trauma, and dead zones. That's all it is. And like I said, I might walk through a dead zone. So that ends up happening. You know, I might lose visual a little bit, but the audio probably should still be connected until my mic keeps going. I gotta see if I got green light. I got green light. Yep. As long as I got green light on my joint, I'm good. As long as it's green lit, it is good. That's fine. All right, man. I appreciate you coming in. I'm just mobbing around. I'm gonna hit the spot because there's a little park I like going to. I like going to all these little parks, walking around, get my steps in, walk around, just get my joints warmed up. Man, my foot was hurting the other day for no reason because I was sitting still, playing video games all the time, all day long, and eating. I was eating junk food and playing video games, and then I was eating junk food and like what was I doing? Eating junk food, playing video games, and watching basketball. I was just being a little lazy, not really a couch potato, but lazy. You say you love you so much. So what does that mean, Jim? Chill, Jim. You gotta relax. Hey, yo, Jim. What you mean by that? Listen, love is love, but you sound a little crazy. What's going on here? Sound a little crazy, man. No disrespect. No disrespect, my guy. What's that? But I appreciate the love in general. But you sound like I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, right? that about? What's that about? Relax, Jim. Exactly. Relax. You gotta relax. You gotta relax, man. But yeah, I don't know what that means. This is the first time I'm seeing your name too. I think he's just coming out the woodwork trolling. But people do that all the time. I was telling the people, I went on live a couple hours ago. I told the people I appreciate people that come in and troll because people who come in and troll, man. What's up with a bit of love? Ain't nothing wrong with a bit of love, but I'm saying, he said so good. He said so good. What's that? So I'm over here reading text, so it's like I gotta interpret it a certain way. I don't know if I'm misinterpreting it. That's why you let me know if I'm reading that wrong. Just let me know if I'm reading it wrong. That's all. I let me that 5-5 read it wrong. Peace, love, sex, rock and roll. I'm cool with that, but not with no gym. Hell no. Again, no offense to anyone that's with that, but that ain't me. But yeah, I fuck with that. Rock and roll, cool. But yeah, there it is, man. Make love, no war. My guy. My guy. That's the whole disruption aspect about it. Is I'm actually cool with things that throw the norm off kilter a bit. We had a couple trolls in like real life in our actual communities, and they show up. They show up. They do a little bit. They do at the minimum, but really they're kind of there to just create some disruption. The community space, I have a better grasp on it. It's really interesting because if you were to talk to me maybe like 10 years ago I was 21, and back when I was 21, man, I had a different type of outlook. I didn't feel the responsibility yet. People felt the responsibility, but they can only do so much. That's not for me to compare myself to others, but I think a lot of people have always been better than me realistically. That's how I've always felt. But come to find out, even back then, they were still leaning on me for a form of leadership, if not guidance. So I always have to look. I always have to be careful because I'm very mindful of like who I'm speaking with and how I talk to them, because I don't want things to be misconstrued. And I just, I had that issue as a kid. I had that issue as a kid, man. Like just being I don't want to say a natural born leader. I don't know if that's true necessarily. I don't know if I could dub myself a natural born leader, but I will say that it's funny. I went to this rally that was right up the street from my house on MLK Day. Ran to a homie and he was saying like, "Yeah, man, James, you had a little following back then." He was telling my girl at the time, and when he was saying that, I just thought he was saying some weird, funny, slick shit. I didn't know what he meant. But he was like, "No, seriously, bro. Like you had people that was really fucking with you, looking out for you, like had your back." And I didn't really think about what he was saying. I was like, "I guess he's right." Across right here, he's like, "I guess you're right," because at the time, I just excuse me, I'm over here stuttering. I just had a bit of aggression, and I would handle things in an aggressive and upset manner all the time, and it probably came off a certain way. Nothing about that is leadership, though. I was just a troubled kid dealing with trauma, realistically, and it was coming out the wrong way. But it might have intimidated a few other kids, and it might have like kept them at bay just because I was so volatile. But that isn't leadership, and I've noticed that when you have friends that kind of follow in your footsteps, that they'll go will go to war with for you. And I never wanted to lead people down that path. And I was even more humbled when I started getting into sports in middle school. So I really was like, nah, I got to be very careful about how I'm influencing people, because I don't necessarily want to be a leader. I just want to lead myself and help others, if anything. You understand? If anything, I need to learn to lead myself and help others. Where the fuck is this park, man? I'm looking for the park. I'm lost right now. I'm over looking around the corner like, what? This is it? It might be the next block. Oh no. I'm gonna walk one more block and I'm gonna cut down. I don't know if I'm there yet. Is this the steep ass hill? Was this the steep ass hill I'm walking on? Let me see. I might have to walk one more block, but no. So that's how I felt, because I don't want to mislead anyone, and I carried that for my whole chunk of my life. But now that I'm older, I'm like, bro, this whole time the people have been seeking a sense of responsibility from you and a bit of guidance. It's time for you to step up and be that person, a responsible individual. Because I've always loved just kind of floating around and having fun, but exercising responsibility is a really good thing. Where am I too? I'm trying to get to this park, man. And last time I was at that park sitting down, it was kind of a dead zone. So I want to see if it still is or not. But I want to kick it over there. I see. I really like just sitting there, soaking up some sun. It's springtime right now, so I'm trying to get as much sunlight right now. I'm walking downhill, so when I walk home, I'm gonna have to walk uphill, which is gonna be good for my legs. Because in the morning I walked uphill, And then when I go back home, I want to walk uphill again, get some more steps in, get my joints warmed up. You understand? Get my body moving today. I was sitting at the library using they let me borrow their charger over there, so I charged my phone, hopped up on live again, you know. Uh-oh. No, la Colorado, China, Bulgaria. What you mean? I don't know what that means, my guy. What city, bud? What city? I'm in Seattle, man. I'm in Seattle. Oh, shoot. Look at my guy right here. Check him out, man. It's springtime. It's really spring. It's really spring out here, man. Nothing but nature in the city. Chocolate Nesquik. You know how it is. Chocolate Nesquik. Shout out my guy. Right here. Where you going to? You want to get to the park? Let's go there. I'm going there too. You trying to go? Let's go. I don't even know where he's going. Dude was just sitting there. Dude was sitting there. I don't know what he's thinking. Seattle, yeah. Where you at, man? Where you at? What city you in? Because I'm on Pacific time zone. So what time zone you on? I think this is the block right here. So I might have to just walk down. Dog loud as hell. Dog loud as hell. Trying to find it. There's a specific street. This might be it, and they have the block that connects. I don't know if I'm on the right one. I'll be forgetting about these little sections. I'm gonna keep going because there's like a little small park you can walk through. Mob through there, kind of zigzag through, get to where I'm trying to go. I'm just talking to myself at this point. But yeah, man, talking about the wrong area right now. We used to have, oh, you're in England. Oh, what's up, man? Damn. Although in England, bro, we got the same weather. It's just a whole lot of overcast most time of the year. You know what I'm saying? Just you know how it goes, man. I don't know if you're born and raised there, if you grew up there, but you know how it is. It's just overcast all year long. You know what I mean? Should be crazy. I feel like I'm on the wrong side, bro. I'm gonna keep walking down the hill though. But like it's spring right now, so the sun kind of came out, and I'm getting to see a bit of the trees and the branches blooming a bit, which is a plus. Really good. I'm on the wrong side of the street because I need to get some sunlight. I need that. But community is very interesting, man. Community is a really interesting aspect because I've always loved finally, the feeling of finally being accepted into it. I was speaking on the phone. Excuse me, I wasn't speaking on the phone. I was chatting through text, more or less. It was on Discord, but more or less, with some moderators that I'm tapped in with. They made me a mod. I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I appreciate you upgrading me, I guess. I don't know. I appreciate it. So I had a conversation with them and I was basically explaining like we had this person that was kind of disrupting our community or our group. They were disrupting it. Summer lasts like 6 weeks. Oh no, that's even worse than here. Our summers are nice. They're at least 2 months, 3 months, 2.5 maybe. You know what I'm saying? But we got a nice, decent summer. That's crazy. Rest of the year, rain, snow, sleet. Ooh, I know that feeling. It's mainly like rain and just clouds here. We haven't got snow that much. We got a little bit, but it wasn't really sticking. You know. But now I'm talking to these people. They're good friends of mine, honestly. In the community space that I'm part of, and I'm over here chopping it up with them, and we had this conversation, and they were kind of just saying like their signals went off. So it's interesting because I'm having these conversations with these people, and they're basically just like, yeah, I always knew that this one, there was said individual. I guess I'm gonna give them a nickname. The nickname we'll give them is let's see, the bird. We'll just say the bird, right? So the bird was he was a disrupting person in this specific community. So like, hey man, be careful. This other community, they kind of ousted them. They didn't want them in there. They were being a little disruptive. They were being selfish and whatever and whatnot, and they were kind of problematic. So just be careful. I'm like, okay. My thing is all things considered, because a lot of times when I'm dealing with people, I want to make sure that I have my own observations, my own conclusions about them. In all fairness, that's just how I want to treat people. Because, and the reason why I say that is because, growing up my whole life, I literally was just trying to keep myself out of trouble this whole time. I try to stay righteous as much as possible. But the funny thing about that is, you end up running into people, and the type of people you run into is just people that want to be friends with you for whatever reasons, and those people try to invite you back to the house, and just kick it with you. So they're like, yeah, you can come by the house, you can hang out. Now, what ended up happening a lot of times growing up was I would have to stand outside because these so-called friends, their parents didn't trust me. They'd be like, yeah, I don't know who he is, just let him stand outside, we'll just wait. And I would come knock on the door, and me, respectfully, I would just knock on the door, like, hey, is so and so home? And then I would just wait outside respectfully. I wouldn't try to barge in. I would only walk in and start scrubbing my shoes off on the welcome mat if I was welcome inside. But if I wasn't welcome inside, I'm just gonna stay right the fuck outside, because I knew how I was being treated damn near my whole life. Somebody look at me a certain way, not like I had a beard my whole life either, but somebody look at me a certain way and treat me a certain way. And it's funny, I think the beard made me look more innocent, which is funny too, because somebody said that shit. I think like last year I was crying. I was like, damn, I should have just kept this on the whole time. Kicks on the wire type joint. Kicks on the wire. But here's what I'm saying. Because I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm just making a point that you got to understand, because I was so used to being treated this way. I was so used to going through that type of treatment. I would try to treat others with the same benefit of a doubt. You understand that? So I would do this thing where I was like, okay, if they're like kind of, how's it going? If they're treating me, I'm sorry, if I've been treated that way by like friends, parents, etc., then my whole thing is like, all right, I'm gonna make sure I treat people respectfully and like, nice, because you just don't know what someone's internalizing. You just don't know. I don't want them to go through that. You know what I'm saying? Fatima Ali, thank you for dropping in. And then my crows is over here too. My crows still be at the park. My crows are getting bullied by these hawks. Last time I was here, this is like 3 summers ago, 2 summers ago. I was sad, bro. I was sad. I was like, come on, man, your crows gotta fight back. But the hawks be hella strong. Hawks be hella strong. They be moving hella fast, bro. It's scary. And the crows be hella small, just trying to do what they can. Yeah. But no, my bad, my bad. You're inspirational to me. Hey, man, I mean, I don't, my thing is this, and I'm not trying to do that. My whole thing is just like, whoever needs to hear it, hopefully they hear it. And then the other side of it is like, if I'm feeling it right now, I'm going to go ahead and say it out loud. I went through that before. Hold on. You got yourself a like and sub. Thank you, Fatima. I appreciate that. People could learn a lot from you. I think, maybe they could. And just to be safe, I try to go on live and just like say what's on my mind feeling wise, and I try to approach it from a place of positivity. See, then that's the other aspect, is like 10 years ago, people were looking for my, leadership and guidance back then. And at the time, I didn't feel it. But now I have this feeling and this responsibility where I'm like, you know what, man, I don't feel like the most responsible person, but I feel like there's something every now and again where, like, if people reach out to me, you have to talk to them. And I look at it this way, man. Here's one way I look at it. So I'll give you an example. Let's say like you're in your 20s, or you're like 16, 17, 18. So you're like a young adult, or you're in the 20s. Sometimes like little kids will sit there and approach you with questions. You know what I'm saying? Little kid would just sit there and ask you questions. And you got to pay attention, because that kid is talking to you specifically and not no other young adults in the area. So that means like you don't like, you got to think about it. You don't necessarily have a responsibility to that kid, but the fact that that kid feels like they can trust you enough with the answer, because the kids aren't always trolling you. Sometimes they are, but if they trust you enough to possibly have an answer, that's why they're approaching you. So I started to take inventory. Like, man, how many times in my life did people come approach me with questions? And in my mind, because I'm so guarded, I just thought someone was going to try to abuse me, or exploit my thought process, or just the way I think in general. I was kind of hesitant to answer in a truthful or a specific manner. But come to realize, I was like, yeah, people actually had a sense of trust in you, and I needed to take advantage of that moment to be the person that they looked up to. Because it's like, if it isn't me, it might be someone who's more evil, if you will. You never know. So that's why, like, when you're saying people can learn a lot from me, again, my intention is not to teach, but I'm kind of just saying what's on my mind right now, because you know I don't want to like miss this moment of expression. I don't want to miss any days. I was saying this in the last live. I did another live a couple hours ago. I literally watched a dude last night because I was doom scrolling on these YouTube lives. Bro, I saw a dude last night. I don't even know the proper terminology, bro. I don't know if like I don't know what it is. He was like physically handicapped, mentally handicapped. Like, his wrist is all fucked up, and he like had to keep cocking his neck and shit. But he went on YouTube Live, which means even though his hand and his wrist was so fucked up from his disability, he still was able to click start stream and end stream. So he had enough, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he was on live for like a good 7 minutes, 10 minutes. And towards the end, he sneezed like 4 times, sneezing like a damn horse, because his body's kind of distorted. But he just said goodbye and he ended it. Dude's in a whole nother country. I'm not even trying to be funny, bro. I'm just be honest with you. That's what I saw. So I left a comment. I said, man, that's motivation, bro, because there's no excuses. If that guy would have fuck up, disfigured, man, I don't know. I'm trying to say something messed up, but it's like he had a disfigured body, what I'm saying, handicapped body and mental and all that. If his thing, what I'm saying, if he's able to go on live and he's able to have 2,000 subs, because I went on his channel, he had 2,000 subs. If he can do that, bro, what's my excuse? So I'm gonna just go on live and do what I gotta do, man. Just chat it up and be me. You know what I'm saying? And on top of all that, keep it positive. See, if you asked me 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been as positive as I am now. The amount of trauma and grief that I've embodied and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That shit got me to this point where I'm just speaking my truth, not lying about it. And shit, it could be corny, it could be wrong right now. I mean, it could be wrong in the future, but right now, it's really how I'm feeling. So I'm gonna let that out. Whatever. I might be in a dead zone. Let me know if I'm in the dead zone. That's what I was wondering about. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if I'm in a dead zone, because every time I'm down here, the visual sometimes messes up and it starts to distort. But let me know if I need to start walking up the hill. I'd say get a tripod at level height. You talking about for me or the dude? Bro, like the dude was living in the Philippines, so I'm over here like responding to shit he was saying. I kind of understood what he was saying. He said a certain city. I knew the little region and province or whatever that he was in for my live. So I usually like prop it up, but like I actually have a what's it called? For me, because I walk around so much, man. I just walk around with the thing. But I thought about getting the little handle thing. Like you see, excuse me, you see like tourists walk around with that little handle thing that they put on the phone, and they be going on live. But I don't like the phone being out of my hand, and then like some rando watching me from far away snatching the phone out. I'd rather have the phone in my hand directly. You understand? I'd rather have it in my hand directly. But now back to this dude Bird. We're just gonna call that dude Bird for now. That's what I called him, the Bird, bro. This dude was causing some disruptions, and I was letting people know. I was like, man, it's kind of crazy because oh, there go the birds right there. I was like, yeah, it's a little crazy because causing these disruptions, and he was misconstruing a lot of people's words. It was upsetting, you know what I mean? But it wasn't too bad. But my thing was, I always give this guy the benefit of a doubt because one, he's like black, brown, or whatever. He looked like a black brown dude, and I'm like, man, I know that feeling where it's just like right away you're gonna be treated a certain way, and you might get a judge right off the bat. So I was like, man, I'm gonna give this dude benefit of a doubt. But he kind of just, man, within the past 24 hours, my guy just shot himself in the foot. He literally dug his own grave, man, just talking down on people that were all tied in together. So I had to like, you got to imagine I'm tapped in with so many different communities. I just had to put people on alert. I had to let them know, like, man, it sucks that this guy right here is causing disruptions, talking to higher ups, and the same higher ups were sitting there like, yeah, this is some bullshit, and we know it is. And it was a face palm. It was a really big thing. It was sad, bro. It was sad, but good luck to him, man. Like it's just like I did my best to lead by example. To let him know like I actually cared for dude. Pele was good. Bish Bosh. I don't know what that means, man. I don't know if I want to hear it, but you can write it out, man. I don't know, man. You can do it though. You could do it though. I'm not gonna stop you from typing what you want, but I don't know if I'm ready for it. Here we go. Your grandfather has the heart of a lion and a lifetime ban at the zoo. You know what? I believe that. I believe that. I know I don't actually know someone personally like this, but I heard a story about someone like that. But yeah. Oh, bro, please give me back my little sister. I know you. Nah, bro, chill, chill. Adam, relax, man. What's that? Adam, we're not here for that, man. But Adam, if you want to play those games, let me know so we can get you out of here. Because we're not here for that today, man. Hey, Pele, you hit 200 subs? That's what's up. Pele, you can go live though, right? I think you were telling me about that. I hope you can go live soon, man. Oh, Johnny took care of that. The chief right there, bad chief. Yeah, we just got done talking about. I'm not gonna say his name. I was referencing him as Bird for now. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna call him the Bird. But my guy was causing these disruptions within the communities, which really, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's fucked up because like I'm trying to give man the benefit of the doubt because it's like I know appearance wise, if you see him in person, he looks a certain way, and it's like my guy. I could understand that people might want to treat you a certain way because he black, brown, whatever, tall motherfucker. But it's like I don't, aside from that, it's like he's just actually his personality. People warned me, man. TCG space, there was like, yeah, be careful with him. And it was another thing was like, yeah, man, he just kept talking behind people's backs and all that. And I was like, come on, dog. So again, leading by example, I try not to, and it's funny because Chief, if you're still there, you saw the screenshots. I try not to entertain it when he would say people's names and name drop in a negative manner. But he just kind of kept going. And again, all that happened in the 24 hours, bruh. And you know me, bruh. I gifted my guy, yeah, you'll be dealt with if you have no respect and manners. And it's funny because you said that shit early. I remember you said that shit in Portland. You was like, yeah, we don't allow none of that shit in the community. I was like, I like that because we don't, there's too many kids in this space. There's too many kids and families within this space, man. That's not good, you know? And he made it about him, He made it about him. It was fucked up because there's this one guy in our group. I always call him the protagonist because, he's very like outspoken, but he just kind of makes himself known. Like he'll talk to you when he don't even know you. Like he's one of those, like just straight up. But I always called him protagonist. But dude is a senior in high school, and he really wanted to get a ride to come to this plastics event. And dude promised him like, yeah, man, yeah, especially if you're messing with kids. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's like, so the thing was, this dude's like about 18, and the kid, So then he's saying he wanted to ride because his dad was sick, so he couldn't get a ride to the event. So he goes, "Hey, I'll let you know if I can give you a ride in a few minutes or like an hour or so." And then like right away he goes like, "Oh, sorry, man, my car's fucked up." And he's giving him all these excuses. My car's fucked up and it's broken down. Got whatever. It was like broken in. It was some shit. I don't know exactly. I got to double check the timeline. It's kind of a headache to read it. And then what ends up happening is the next day, miraculously, his car is working well enough for him to show up to the casual meet. So when people started putting two and together, so I didn't go to that casual meet, but the fact that dude showed up, I didn't really think about it. They're like, bro, he was just sitting there, like that's foul. Like you just promised one dude a ride that can't access the city, a kid at that, dude's still in high school, and then you doing this shit. So it was just it was a whole mess. And he's been telling us this whole time. He's like, man, I'm gonna go down to Texas on this day on on a on Wednesday. So all right, bro, cool, good luck. So we're just trying to give him going away presents. I gave him a drawn buster and shit. You know me, I gave him a drawn buster. And then he's like, yeah, I don't know, it got delayed because I'm dealing with issues with the landlord, and I might have to sue them. I'm like, oh, okay. So when you're leaving, he's like, oh, maybe Friday. He ends up doing his own casual meet on Friday with his friend, and that's like like I said, you read them little screenshots pertaining to that. I was like, hey, make sure you call and check in with them because I don't want them to think that we're entitled, bro. You don't represent our group. You're the newest person here. Yeah, bro, it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess, my guy. But all those little antics in the past week, in the past 24 hours, which made it worse, started to catch up to him, man. Drown Buster, that's right. Yeah, I'm waiting on the piss yellow Drown Buster, the citrus one. That's the one I'm waiting on. But where I'm coming from mentally, I just, again, I give people like that the benefit of a doubt because I just understand, especially like think about this, man. Seattle and Portland, right? These are the bubbles where people just like, whether they know it or not, they might internalize a bit of a, socialization and whatnot. Oh, here we go. It's been nice listening to you, my man. Keep up the good work. Stay true. Appreciate it, Bishop Bosch. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for dropping in. I wanted to give him the benefit of doubt because you know how it is. When people we live in the bubbles in the Northwest, some people are just have this a conditioning and this socialization towards like more black and brown people. So I'm like, just looking at him appearance wise, if you had seen him, you can imagine people just off appearance might not like who he is. Not he's not dark skinned or nothing, but it's just the fact that he's like mixed with some other shit. But the way he carried himself was just very disruptive and fucked up. So again, I've always had that thing. So I talked to some of our other moderators and I was letting them know, I was like, honestly, the reason why my signals never went off as something to not trust this person is because my whole life, being treated as someone where it's like, oh, keep this guy outside, don't let him in the house yet. We don't trust him, don't let him in the house yet. Because I went through that personally, you know, um, I just never wanted to treat anyone else like that. So my signals never go off when they need to. I treat everyone as fairly as I can, like Even like I be seeing people, bro. I be seeing crazy ass people downtown my whole life, just swinging at the air, and you know what I'm saying, just being disruptive in general in public. And I'm like, man, I understand they're disrupting the public and pissing in the middle of the street, doing some crazy shit, homeless motherfuckers and everything, etc. I understand they're doing that, but I always give people the benefit of doubt because I'm like, I just don't know what kind of trauma they're going through that they're expressing, you know, physically and very fucked up. You know, I just don't know. So I've always had that understanding just growing up because, but again, that's my socialization as well because I went through that personally. My signals couldn't go off, but everyone else around me was like, "Yeah, man, just watch, bruh. Something tell me something ain't right," and I just didn't have it. Another person that their signals didn't go off was a trans person in our community, and their stuff didn't go off because obviously they're looked at a certain way, they're treated a certain way, so they probably went through this, you know, some kind of similar shit where just based off appearance they probably used to getting judged, but they started to make these people feel uncomfortable as well. So it was a whole fucked up, you know. So I'm really sad about that. But all I'm saying now is like I just understand my role and like who I am in this community. I just want everyone to be happy and you know everyone get along. Everyone be happy, get along, and make sure everyone's safe. You know. So hopefully I was doing that. You know, when I realized that you know, Bellingham was still, well, he was still in that group. I was just like, let me alert them. And I was like, the closest other proximity, 3 hours away, because that's 3 hours north Bellingham, but then 3 hours south would have been you guys. So I was like, shit, let me talk to y'all, because I don't know. That's why I sent that shit to you and Sushi, because I'm just like, bruh, I just don't know, you know? And like, he's definitely not in the Spokane scene. And your boy is so tapped in that like that probably wouldn't even reach him. But I think more or less, it seems all the ground is covered. I let our people know that I contacted you and Bellingham. Bellingham was already speaking amongst themselves as soon as I contacted two individuals. So they're having that conversation. I'm assuming you and Sushi kind of did. I just gave you as much information as I can. Hopefully, what I'm saying too also helps, you know, add some information and some whatever to what needs to be told or what needs to be known, I should say. But yeah, man, I think about that a lot, man. I reflect on just past community stuff as well as this current stuff that's happening now. And it's like, yeah, these are disruptions, man, but they don't stop the progress. You know, he's still, it's interesting because he's still welcome within that card space, but they might be looking at him twice. It's sad because, you know, he pretty much lost all his friends in 24 hours pulling that shit. It's just sad, man. And like, he spoke very highly of the, you know, friend that me and Bird mutually have, like, you know, my guy spoke very highly of him. And then I just was like, hey, man, I just need some information based on dude. And at the same time, you know, just be careful. And then yeah, you know, we reciprocated information, and here we are at this point now. It's just sad, bro. It's just sad to me because it's like, again, leading by example. I really wanted to help. Wait, what in the world? Hold on, man. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, Z, we just got done talking about so and so, but I nicknamed him Bird for this live. But yeah, yo, Z, hold on. Let me stay here. I'm about to zoom in on these things. Yep, we're talking about old boy. Bro, are these horses? That's dope. That's if I could pet them. Uh-oh. I named the bird, and I'm going based off the PFP. I didn't even really think about the other thing. I'm gonna ask later. You think I should ask if I can pet the horse? I don't know if it's safe. I'm gonna ask, bro. I'm scared, but I'm gonna do it. Oh, true. I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. I'm gonna just wave. Oh, excuse me. Can I pet the horse? Is it okay? So okay, I'm gonna go as slow as I can. Okay. Okay. I'll go slow. Side on the side. Okay. Hi, Gaia. Oh, here. I'll put this on there. There's a horse here, guys. I'm being very gentle. Oh, okay, yeah. I want to be careful. What are the odds? I'm on YouTube Live, so I'm just like, I just saw the horse in the corner of my eye. I was like, oh my god, should I walk up? That is dope. This is Guy. What is the name of the other one?
This one is the Filenza,
Filenza.
but
Okay.
I call her Fifi.
Hmm.
Very,
It's like real ponies, man.
they're miniature horses.
Miniature horses, guys.
Yeah,
Can you hear that on the mic? I think you can.
their horses are um, ponies are bigger than a miniature horse,
Hmm.
but miniature ponies are smaller than.
Right. Are you guys down at the? I've seen the. Yeah. Okay, I've seen it before. Wow. Oh, that's pretty cool. How do you say this one's name again?
I just Filenza.
Filenza. Okay, Filenza. That's
I call her
crazy. Fifi. There we go. That's easier for me to remember.
Fifi.
Hi, Fifi.
Fifi
Is
is
it
the
okay?
more spirited one. So
Oh, is it okay?
on the
Okay,
side, yeah, yeah. They're kind of dirty, so
that's okay.
yeah, your hand's gonna get dirty. And then it's spring, so it starts to shed a lot.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
shedding that. And then she is during the winter. She's
Hmm.
like, not the winter, the summertime. She's like pure white.
Oh wow.
She will lose all her kind of a chestnut color
I like it though. Yeah,
coat.
it's pretty
So
cool.
she's gonna be pretty soon. She's all like white.
When it gets warmer.
Yeah. And this one is the same color. Just loses this fluffy hair.
Wow.
Color is the same.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I feel like years ago I walked past that area, the little ranch. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this lady owns them, and I just volunteer to walk them.
Nice.
So that they can go outside.
Cool.
But they have to be kind of careful during the winter. I mean, spring because the sugar content of grass is quite high.
Oh really?
So
That makes sense though.
yeah, they shouldn't be eating whole a lot. So I kind of like trying to pick up the paces, but
Hmm.
they love it.
Nice.
But this one has a delicate stomach, so
That's good. Yeah.
delicate GI system.
That's
So
good. You're doing the grass for everyone. You know.
I know
Public service, right? There you go.
Yes, it is.
That's cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
This one isn't so bad, but there's some yard that has a lot of dandelions and stuff.
Yeah.
They like to eat dandelions. So
Nice.
yeah. So it's a public service
That's good.
as well, right?
So I didn't get your name.
I'm Shinko.
Shingo James.
James?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice to
it's
meet you.
dirty.
That's okay. Yeah. No worries. No worries.
So, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Have a good day.
All right. You too. That was crazy. You guys saw the horse. That was crazy. Yeah. It's like a pub. Man, they're like pretty much walking through the yards and eating the grass, which is nice. Oh, you said lady reminds you of grandma who. Oh, really? Damn. Did she have horses too? She had some horses. Bro, I didn't expect the. Bro, I literally looked out the corner of my eye. I'm thinking I'm seeing like a giant fluffy, like a mastiff or something, like a fluffy mastiff looking thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought I saw. And I looked closer. I was like, this is the damn horse. I'm scared. But I had to walk up. I was like, something told me I need to just walk up and say something. Fifi, I forgot the name of the other one already. Damn. And her name was Shingo. That's pretty cool. So there's like this little ranch, right? That I used to walk past with my friends. I used to one of my homegirls used to live like a block from my house. And then when we would go walk places to smoke, I'd be like, bruh, let me show you this spot. And then I would just show her the little ponies in that area. And then I would just show all my friends. I was like, bruh, let me show you this spot with these ponies. And then I took my ex there too a long time ago. They just be having ponies, bruh. But that's where she's from. She's like taking them for a walk. I didn't know you can walk them in the neighborhood like that. I've never seen that. I just never seen that, bro. That was the first time. My bad. Later, she had all sorts of animals. She had monkeys, but it's just the walking down the street with some random ass animals and her vibe. I feel that, yeah. I don't see shit like that enough. It's been a while, bruh. It's been a while. But no, as you can see from the title, yeah, we were talking about old boy. I just call him Bird for now. I'm just going based off of the thing. But it's just sad, man. It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing, you know. I think it's really interesting, man, because I was pretty much referencing you, and then like two or three other people that I spoke with. where I was like, everyone else's signals kind of were just like on, on guard. But I think for me, because of my own, personal trauma, it's starting to get bright, my own personal trauma and whatnot. And me not wanting to treat people the way I've been treated, I always give that man a benefit of a doubt, right or wrong. I was like, man, something tell me he on some bullshit, but let me try to lead by example of like how helpful and accommodating this community can be. But again, my guy just shot himself in the foot, dug his own grave, and he thought egotistically, he thought as himself, which is, it's, I mean, I don't want to say it's going to be a given, right? But it's like, it's just who he was. So it's really sad. So me and Bird's mutual friend, you know, it's just sad that he cut him. I sent you the screenshots, obviously, but it's like the fact that like the fact that he like just cut him off too was crazy. It's like, so he basically has no friends in the span of 24 hours. So I feel for the guy, but at the same time, I was like, you did this to yourself, man. We gave you information. We literally gave you things. People gave you their time. You know, Mars traded due to 770 for some juicy fruit. That's like one of the nicest things you could do because he had nothing else to offer, which is crazy. But yeah, yeah, bro. We all invited him in the same way we would it with anyone. But sometimes people just take advantage of that stuff. That's what's crazy, and it's sad because it's like, damn, this is just who you are. So, it bothers me because, you know, for the more guarded people in our community, I very much want to. I always take their stuff into consideration. It was like you. I guess I'll leave the other names out of it. But the people who had the actual instincts for it, and then it just kind of upsets me that, it's like, bro, we're showing you by example, and this is what you do to. This is how you treat people. So that's I don't know. Good luck to him, man. Good luck to him in life. Hopefully, he actually makes it to where he said he was gonna go, rather than like lying and shit. It's weird because he was telling us Texas, but then I guess he told the other people Utah. So I was like, his answer keeps on changing, and that was enough for me. See, I missed that part, but you know how it is, man. You try to tell one people one thing, you try to tell people the next thing, and it doesn't start to add up, and people start putting notes together. In my mind, I was tripping. So I'm looking at this construction thing. There's a whole lot of shit going on. This thing threw me off. Give me a second. I ain't never seen this. That's going. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in. That's crazy. It's like construction. Oh, I never seen this. Damn. It's like a conveyor belt, guy. See that shit? Then in the corner of my eye, I saw it. And I was like, how are they doing that? That's pretty cool. But that's what I'm looking at right here. So yeah. Oh, I bet I'm going uphill. The gold. That's how. Yeah, right. I'm trying to think what that looks like. That's kind of cool though. I just don't think I've ever seen that. That's my first time seeing that. I'm gonna stay on this side. I need some sunlight. But yeah, I'm a little yeah. There's a part of me that still empathizes with dude. But what can you do? What can you do, man? So good luck to bruh. I don't mean to laugh at it like that, but good luck to him, man. You know. Excuse me. Yeah, no, literally, I'm walking up the hill. I seen something moving. I was like, "What is that thing it looks like it's shifting?" And it looks like a little gold conveyor belt. Actually, crazy. Good, I got my steps in today. Yeah, no reason holding on to hate for him or anything. Yeah, right, right, right. Just wish him the best and keep moving, man. Yeah, bro. Good luck to bro. You know, and it's a trip too, cause like, all the warnings that, or like not warnings, but like the slight warning that Lord Krem gave. I was like, okay. And he wasn't even talking shit. He was just giving a fair warning. He's like, hey, just fair warning. Whoop wop. I'm like, okay, I hear you. And then it all kind of played out. And our mutual friend kind of, yeah, man, it's just sad. So yeah, I don't want to make it a ganging up thing either. I mean, I don't think any of us will. But good luck to Bray. I'm trying to find this park. Am I on the right street? Might not be. Yeah. He will keep doing his stuff from place to place so he has no place left or he learns the lesson. But I'll be honest with you, I think it's happening right now. You know, I think it's happening to him right now. So hopefully he figures it out, like, today, right? It's like, hope you figure that out now, bro. But yeah, why was that so real? This is a big lesson moment for sure. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think I've ever met someone like that. I'm trying to think. Maybe there's probably one other person in my life I met like that. I don't know if it was to this degree. It might have been worse. It might have been worse, but that's a whole other story. Most people don't learn that till much later on. Yeah, and I guess that's what obsessed me is like some people have to go through that to figure it out. You know, I've actually did what James. Wait, what? Hold on. Hold on. Kind of cool. I'm just walking past here, like a landmark. The house is a landmark. Yeah, I'm gonna just. That's crazy. That's cool. I fuck with that. That's my worry. Is like being. You said you've been around, met quite a few people like that. My worry is to run into people consistently like that. And I realized the park I'm looking for might have just, got bulldozed and turned into some fucking condos. I just realized. Am I tripping? Or it's like right here. It might be on the next one. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, man, crazy. Oh well. But it's cool though, man. Because on the other hand, I'm kind of learning a little bit more about myself. Let me show you this joint right here. Boom. It's like a nice little house, a little artsy kind of house with this little truck. I used to walk past her all the time. Like I said, taking friends down this path, this back street here, just to hit the arboretum as chief sometimes. A little something like that. And I used to walk through here when I used to work graveyard shift. I catch the bus. I get off right here. Matter of fact, I'd be up there. Oh, I'm tripping. I'd be up there, actually hitting the little zigzag spot, and get it straight to the house. Cutting corners is back there. When I used to work, like 11 to 6, 11 to 7 or something. I don't know. Crazy hours. Those days. This area is weird, man. It's I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. There's be a lot of like whoop wop and everything. Pyrus up in this area too. Bloods and Pyrus up in here, but then it just mixed in with some random, hipsters with money buying up spots and say just getting property. And then it just became what it is now. Like it's just these fucking condos, my guy. Like what the fuck is this? But I don't know. Take it or leave it, right? This is weird. It used to be like you'd walk down the street every other block. Every block, if not every other block, it's a handshake. What's good? How you doing? I don't know what this is now, but I don't know. I take it for what it is. Some people are raising their families here. Some people are just in the house working from home. So it's kind of a weird mixed bag feeling. Not much culture anymore, if you will. Nonetheless, man, I'll take it for what it is. But yeah, it is a wild area. All right, here we go. I think I found it. Bam. So a nice little joint here. I was over here back when they had or when COVID. Excuse me. Pandemic. The pandemic hit. Oh, the Crows is here. Let's go. They're still here. Come on, man. Yeah. A little chief spot back then. You know what I'm saying? Nice little cut used to be right there, alleyway. You know, used to know a few people that lived kind of up the hill that way. Been a minute. Hold on, let me show you the alleyway while we're at it. Because the truck's gonna come through anyway. It's gonna be loud. Damn. All I'm doing is walking uphill. I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all before the truck gets moving. It was looking like this. It's clean now. It's clean now. But up and down the neighborhood, basically north to south, it would be nothing but alleyways. So if you knew where you was at and you figured it out properly, you know how to bike. See, I never knew how to ride a bike, but people that was really moving it like that, they would bike through. They'd cut the corners, and then you got to remember back then houses didn't have fences, so people would just be cutting corners, any corner. You'd be in an alleyway, just cut left, won't mash through somebody's yard, pop out the other side. You know, now everything is all fences, but we know who's building the fences. That's a whole other conversation, but we know who that is. But yeah, man, it's nice over here, man. People, that's another thing right there. People kind of lose sight of certain. It's, like if we're honest, it's beautiful here. But when you're like in the midst of ignorance and whatnot, you can't even fathom that stuff. You can't even fathom enjoying the view, which sucks. But sometimes I wish the people that grew up over here were still able to buy the spaces back, win everything back. But that's how the game goes, right? That's how it goes. Whatever, bro. I don't know, man. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the you got to play the game kind of guy, but that's just how it goes, man. But now we're talking about yeah, the community aspect is really interesting because as I get older, I'm pretty much just finding and discovering my own myself because back then, like I said, 10 years ago, I had people leaning into me for some form of leadership or trust, if you will, but I didn't have who I had. I didn't have the experiences I had. Excuse me, to have the mindset I have now. So it only makes sense in this age that like taking responsibility and you know calling people out on their shit and meeting people halfway and making sure everyone feels safe. Like it makes sense that it happens now. If I was to be back then, my mentality would have been more selfish and possibly egotistical. So who knows? So it makes sense that everything's happening now. It's just like a weird wake up call that like I don't much love to that dude. Good luck to him, but we're not tolerating that shit. It came to a head when I found out so and so and this person and that person from our community got uncomfortable, and when I found that out, that was the last straw for me. I was like, well, damn, I gave this man the benefit of the doubt. But if you're over here rubbing people the wrong way and not being mindful, you can apologize all you want, but your actions ain't saying it, man. So good luck to bro. It sucks, man. Yeah, but I get you, bro. Unfortunately, that is indeed how it goes, man. Yep. Yeah, man. It's just lessons. We got to protect our own. Yeah. I think back then, I think a lot of it too is like, I think I was talking to your boy about this, like maybe a couple weeks ago, or like last month or some shit. And I was like, I think a lot of why I'm always on guard for stuff like that is because I used to legit do like in the community work, right? And then one of the guys and one of the organizations that we were in, he was like the guy, like he was one of the kind of supervisor people, and he would hire us. Like he put me on as a internship person with a stipend, and I also went to school with his son back in like bruh, second grade to fifth type shit. So I knew his family, and we locked in. And he was like, "Yeah, man, since you know all the stuff, and you're from the neighborhood, man. Why don't you be part of the organization? And we'll put you on a stipend. Let's get you a little bit of money." I'm like, "Okay, cool, bet, whatever." And then fast forward, we're rocking with dude for like a year and a half, 2 years maybe, and he's taking care of us. He's making sure we get flights. He's making sure we get taxis. He's making sure we're eating salmon when we're out of town, wherever we're at. He'd make sure we'd eat, and then he would write it off on the actual organization's like receipts and credit cards. He would take care of us But come to find out that whole time he was just grooming kids, bruh. You know what I'm saying? This is someone we looked up to, and he took care of us. But he was doing some weird shit like that. So it's like ever since that, when those those details and information started spilling out, I've been very defensive and very protective, bruh, of just any community space. You understand? All type of whatever, bruh. Like ever since then, because I was like, I don't even. I heard his. I mean, he's like older, so his dad's like in his 80s or some shit. But like, if I ran to his dad, because his dad kind of lives near my spot down the street in the neighborhood, if I run into him, I'd be like, "Hey man, your son owes me a fade, for over here trying to bring bottles to 18-year-olds houses and 19-year-old houses and weird shit. You know what I'm saying? He owes me a fade for that one, because I need to chin check him for doing some funny shit on my watch. These are my friends. He's trying to groom like hell no, hella dark. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, he over here taking care of people and then hoping we turn the other cheek because he's doing this weird shit. So I'm like, nah, I don't, because in my on the one end it's like I feel manipulated, but on the other hand I feel really empathetic to like my friend because she's just not around any org space at all anymore. There's a lot of young women that just don't ever come back to the organizational community because of how men treated them, men in power at that. I take that shit serious, you know. Having a mom that had that same situations and I ain't gonna say my cousins had it as bad as my mom, but them too, going through similar shit. I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't tolerate that shit because I don't got sisters, but my cousins are the closest thing. But no, that should be having me defensive. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm never no tough guy, but just shit like that be irking me. But oh yeah, that fat motherfucker owes me a fade for real. I'm like, let me see. He been talking all this weird ass what's that shit, bro? In Israel, I don't know what that martial arts they do over there, man. He act like he used to know that stuff in Muay Thai, but he would catch an Uber and taxi everywhere because he wasn't in shape. I'm gonna have to just serve him up real quick. I'll pick him up off the ground though. You know what I mean? I'll sock the shit out of him. I'll knock him down. I'll pick him up though, but I just let him know like, hey man, you got to get knocked down because of your actions, my guy. You had us fooled, and I can't let you. That's a bad habit. It's a bad habit. Can't let that slide. So it's a weird one, man. Yeah, I had a talk with another elder about that same similar situation, the same dude, and he was like, "Yeah, it's crazy because we looked up to him. It's just sad that he was like this towards other people. Obviously not to men, but like to the women in general. It's just bad that people have that outlook. But that's a whole nother story. That's a deeper conversation. I might do a squared up parable and talk about that dude. But for now we're just talking about Bird. I don't even want to call him Bird because I don't even want to call him Bird because I feel like Bird is like a dope person in the show, and I don't even watch the show. I feel it, especially having a daughter now. You know what's crazy, man? Yeah, when I got my niece, it felt. I mean, I don't have a daughter, but it's like I think my niece had a very similar, like having my or sorry, I wasn't having my niece, but like when my cousin gave birth to my niece, like that feeling was like, okay, this is it's a different responsibility. I understand that, yeah. So it is kind of crazy. It's a little crazy. It's a different type of protection, you know. I be trying to protect. This is gonna sound funny. I try to protect family members from my other family members, not to shade them, but I'm just like I think I was telling my cousin because she likes to always monitor her daughter, which that's what moms do. But I'm like, hey man, just you've raised her well enough. Let her spread her wings. You know what I mean? She'll be fine. You don't want her to be like some of these coddled, entitled kids. Some kids are really coddled and entitled, and it doesn't matter what class they're in, middle class, whatever. Some kids, I know some kids are dirt broke that feel coddled and entitled. It's kind of, I don't say disgusting, but it's like, ugh, what can you do? You know? So it's really interesting. But that's life, my guy. That's life. I'm rambling right now, but I say all that to say like I'm really like triggered by certain things lately, man. Yeah. Z, how you been though, man? I forgot to check in with you, my guy. I forgot to check in with you. I feel like I've been doing. If I'm not doing lives, I'm doing some other shit. Oh shit, hold on. There we go. The buck and the dough. They out here. They out here. Chilling. Roscoe says, I'm a great uncle. I got a big family and lots of nieces and nephews. One of my nephews is 32, 33. I'm 35. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to tell you a funny story. And I think it's one of my friends I used to box with. I actually don't know. See, I always see. I think it's his ex girlfriend. I could be wrong. I always see his ex girlfriend because I go to the library, and I think she works there. I think she still works there. It looks like her, but I don't really know. And she has her daughter every now and again on school days, and they're just in the library, right? And okay, okay, my bad. Dealing with some stuff. Mess with me later if you want to talk. I'm gonna hop off here for now. Peace, brother. Yep. Yeah, I got you, man. I'm gonna hit you probably right after this at some point. I need to do that. But yeah, this guy. I remember when he first came to the gym. He was in middle school and he was like a scrawny dude. Shout out to my guy Will. So I don't know if this kid that I'm seeing is his daughter or not. I'm not exactly sure. But shout out to my guy Will. Um, when I first saw him, dude was like a scrawny kid, and I met him at the gym, and then I ended up going to high school the next year. And this one girl, I think her name was Michaela. She goes, oh, you know my again, mind you, me and Michaela are the same age, and Will is like a year or two younger than me. So Michaela goes, you know my uncle, huh? I was like, who's your uncle? I'm thinking she's gonna say some random OG that I know. He said, Will. I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, yeah, that's my uncle. He's like 2 years younger than me, but that's my uncle. I was like, I was crying. I was like, wait, explain this to me. She's like, basically, my mom is his sister type shit. Like they had a big ass family like that too. I think that was her name. I could be wrong. But that shit had me crying. And then I saw him again at the gym. I was like, bro, I met your niece. And she's older than you. What kind of shit? He's like, yeah, man, it's crazy. We got a big ass family. And I was like, bro, I don't know if I've ever seen or met. Actually, I met another family like that, which is hella funny. But that shit tripped me out. But it'd be like that, you know. You have like I met someone who was telling me their oldest sibling is like 20 years older. So then their nephews and nieces pretty much grew up with them like siblings, and they just end up playing the same video games together. It's pretty cool. So I wonder if that's what you mean, like you and your nephews are all hanging out doing the same things together. You guys are close to the same age, literally the same generation, but like not familial generation. If that makes sense, which is pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. I like the sound of that. That's just pretty cool, man. But yeah, man, it's a weird time, and I've been feeling very hostile lately. I don't want to think this way. I feel like there's a lot of positive things I should look forward to, but I'm also finding this strange balance of like, handle people, handle some shit, let people know you're not fucking around, and then just go about your day having fun. But you know how it is. People always want to dance around things and try to do evil, if you will. However you want to look at that. So a lot of people always want to dance around and pretend like they're upright or whatever, righteous or whatever. So it's upsetting. It's like I don't like the feeling of people feeling like they can get one up on you. You know what I mean? Even if it's just like being nice to you, like you gotta. It sucks because it's like you don't want to question people's best interests or like them being nice. You don't want to question it. You want to just assume, you know, you just want to assume that they mean the best. But this is the world we live in, unfortunately. So everybody just be mindful, man. Take care of your loved ones. There's nothing wrong with if you're being cautious, even if it comes off as like racist or prejudice or whatever, man. Even if it comes off that way at times, man, it's there's nothing wrong with you being cautious. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with anyone being cautious. A lot of phonies, fakes out here, man. It's upsetting. It's not. It's less. It's more upsetting than it is scary. You understand? Because it's like you can handle them, but the issue is you can't handle someone that's hiding, basically, right? You can't handle someone that's throwing stones and hiding their hand. By the time you look over the window, they're gone. Things like that. And that's the other aspect about it. Kind of referencing what Chief is saying down here. Oh, Chief, you know what's funny? Um, we were talking last night in the voice chat, and one of our bladers that loves using Mandalorian, they love Rillaboom as well. They love Rillaboom. I was like, man, hopefully you get to meet. I don't. Well, they might be out of town. Yeah, we were literally talking about that last night because it was funny. We're like, I was like, are you going to be in town next week for the tournament? It's like, nah, I'm going to be out of town doing some stuff. I was like, oh, damn, word, okay. But that person really loves Rillaboom. I was like, it'd have been nice if you know what I'm saying, if you guys met each other, like Rillaboom. Um, was it Grookey or something? The first stage, people who chose Grookey basically. But yeah, my bad. Let me read this. Roscoe says I was adopted at birth. That's why I'm a great uncle. Oh, okay, I got you. My blood mom was addict and her babysitter. My mom who I see. noticed and got custody of me when I was born. That's why my family. Oh, well, but you know what? But yeah, I'm happy you're in. I mean, a better household, right? I'm happy that it was that way. Mom is 71. You talking about currently she's 71 or she was 71 at the time? But yeah, my trust is gained until you proven yourself as a person of your word, and I've seen you behave yourself in public. Oh me, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And I even to this day I exercise, just offering something to someone, and it's like one of those. I always remind them like, hey, just whatever makes you comfortable. Just putting it out there, and I don't even that sounds fishy, and I'm like, but I have to dot my I's and cross my T's or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's important to me because it's like I understand. Uh, for me, it's always been like monitoring women's safety, and always protecting my mom. And when I was a kid, I think I was a kid. I watched one of my family members get slapped by their boyfriend or whatever. I seen that shit, and I didn't really know what to make of it. I was like, I just never seen that shit. You know what I'm saying? I never seen that shit. I didn't understand it. And then the older I got, as the years went on, it just kind of festered. Like, was I supposed to jump in the room and like fight this 18-year-old? I'm like 4 years old. Like, am I supposed to fight this big motherfucker right here? Am I supposed to try? You know? And I had a friend that I grew up with. Man, he's the youngest brother of like three, four sisters. This motherfucker had hella sisters. My guy, he had hella sisters, and he said like some dudes are trying to crack at his sister outside the house. And he's like, yeah, man, you remember they used to have the little bushes and the thorns right here, right outside my house? I was like, yeah. He said, man, these motherfuckers, these YNs tried to crack at my sister, and I'm a little kid. This dude, like, he tried to step up to the dude. He said the dude was like 14, 15, and he's like 3 years old. And he's a little kid. He bucked up to the dude trying to crack at his sister. Dude just picked up the kid and threw him in the bushes. I was like, what? Like, yeah, man, I was like three. They tossed me in the bushes, but I was a strong kid though, and I was like, swear to God, I'm mad as hell. I'm hella mad. But it's funny because that same dude, that 3-year-old that grew up, by the time, man, that's my homie. By the time he was like 13, 14, dude was like 6 foot and just diesel. So everybody was, nobody was fucking with him, man. Dude was just built, but he was just a gamer. He was just a gamer minding his business. But I remember I sparred one round with him. That dude punched hella hard, bro, for no reason. He just got country strength. That dude's genetics, man, is straight country, strong as hell. Currently 71. She's still working with. My bad, my bad. Oh yeah, there it is. Currently 71. She's still working with my sister because my sister has her own dick. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, okay. I like that. I respect everyone and anybody, but my trust is earned and gained. You feel me? Yeah, that's it. Always got to be that way, man. It's always got to be that way, and it's always a work in progress, right? Because, and I say this too. Like, here's one thing I will say, Chief. Shout out to you, Dylan. Thank you for dropping in. Um, I will say like this too, and I'm very open to this. Like, even if I do things that seem trustworthy or just seem whatever, and you seem to feign or wane off of me, that's fair to me. Like, if I'm proving to be a more untrustworthy person over time, that's fair to me. Does that make sense? Like, and I extend that branch to everyone where I'm like, listen, you love me now, but I'm okay if you don't love me later, because like I'm a person that goes through changes as well, and I also go through um, mentality changes in the sense of people might not agree with my mentality or my thoughts. So if that ever happens, I'm welcome to people. I don't want to say walking out of my life, but um, does that make sense? Like, people keeping me at a distance as well. I'm open to that because I understand the feeling of like growing apart from people. I understand that feeling, um, and it's all fair game. It's always gonna hurt, but nonetheless, I think it's for me it's fair. I like the fairness of it. Um, because I grew up thinking like certain friends would always be there in my life, but we just grew apart, and it's just like, honestly, man, we can't be there for each other right now because someone's on some bullshit, and I'm trying to be more responsible, and my family's looking like this, that, and the third in my household situation. So I just feel like I need to do this, but you feel like you need to fuck around, so it's just not lined up. So at any point, like, I'm okay with, and I went through that. I went through that early, so it's like I kind of understand, like, man, if we grow apart at any point, we just got to be fair, and it is what it is. The hurt's gonna be there. It is what it is, man. And I just got to accept that. But my bad. Rilla Boom was a real one. The real Boom. Yeah. With the big green locks. He's a drummer too. Yeah. Makes sense. We have to be accountable, and it's fair. Yeah, I say it all the time because a long time ago when I first met Z, he hopped in the chat and he said something like, I always knew you were a real one. And right away I was like, listen, man, I mean, I appreciate you saying that and recognizing that if that's how you feel. But at the same time, at any point, if I prove not to be, that's fair too. That's fair as well to me. Like I understand if I'm up on someone's list and I no longer am, I understand that feeling. And it's funny. I went through that with sports. It sounds kind of weird. I went through that with sports because like at one point you're a reliable athlete for someone. Your coaches are like, oh, we got a good person on the team, etc. But when you're no longer like participating and whatnot, you're just no longer valuable. And then when you come to the gym just for pastime sakes and just to get your recreational workout in, obviously you're not going to be valued, and that's fair. It's fair. You know what I mean? And you have to accept that. These are changes that I went through, or experience, I should say, early. So I have that understanding. But yeah, some friends are forever, even though you don't see or talk hardly at all. Real recognize real. Hey, you know what's funny about that too? Now that you mention that, that goes down to Hunter x Hunter, like the shirt you gave me. Matter of fact, hold on. Oh no, I put it in. Damn, I put it in the basket. I wore it yesterday, bro. The black one with the purple when it has the four friends on it. The Hunter x Hunter shirt. Cause them dudes, man, like, but they be trying to text Karapika, and that dude don't be picking up his phone because he's over here doing some mob shit. But it's just like, man, where's my guy at, bro? We almost died and fell off a boat. You know what I'm saying? We did like the trials together, and then it's like Karapika's just gone. He's just missing. Where you at, bro? He was just gone, missing somewhere. So yeah, going my boy. Going is man. I say this all the time. It's hard to say, man. It's like I relate to Gon as much as I relate to Killua. You know, like I get it. Like I think what I'm trying to say is this: with some of my friends who have more of like the Killua type background, I'm probably going for them, where they just need that friend that's undyingly gonna be themselves and kind of inspire and move them. But then there's other friends where like they're gone, and like I'll always kind of ride for them. Like, hey man, these dude got a good heart. I'm always ride for them, and that's where I'm become Killua for them. Because Killua would always like wrestle with these thoughts like, I know I'm better and I know I'm sharper and I know I'm stronger than Gon, but it's just like, but I still ride and die for him. So I have that Killua feeling with certain friends. You know, sometimes Gon just leads with his heart. You know, I like that though. I like that Gon leads with a heart. On the right street. Yeah, I'm on the right one. I'm going to walk through the alleyway. But Gon, man. And when Gon went full, bro, when he went like full adult mode to attack the Chimera Ant, that was crazy. I kind of wish Gon fought Ant King, but it probably wouldn't have ended well. I don't know, man. That was crazy. Kurapika is on a mission for vengeance, man. He was on his own time. Bro was on his own time. Matter of fact, I need to read the manga because my homie said Kurapika accidentally fell asleep using Emperor time or some shit, and he accidentally shortened his lifespan because he forgot to turn off the mode when he went to sleep. So he might have shortened his lifespan on accident, which is kind of funny. It's sad though. Hey, you know what I thought about? I was telling my brother this because me and my brother right now we're rewatching Yu Yu Hakusho. Hey man, think about this, right? When it came down to Nen and learning it, Gon and Killua had Wing, right? Because Wing kind of approached him as like, "Let me teach you guys and how to activate it." And then, he did the whole thing. He extended his Nen into them, and then it activated inside of them, right? So then they had the teacher Wing or whatever his name was, and then Kurapika ended up finding that one dude in the forest who was like, I want to teach you this stuff. Here's my thing. He's hunting the spiders still. He's still hunting them now, and it's crazy because with Leorio, I don't know if they ever confirmed that he had a teacher. You know what I mean? So I think he figured it out on his own, which that's why Leorio was my favorite because he punched Gon's dad. Like when he did that, I was like, oh, he's the goat. Leorio's the goat. I don't care what nobody say. Because it used to be like I used to like between Gon and Killua, it was always back and forth. Erodi, what's up? Hi to you. Hi, Erodi. Thank you for dropping in, man. Thank you for being here. But the more I think about it, I don't know if Leorio had an actual teacher. I think he just was doing it. He was living life, and I think he activated and figured shit out on his own. I could be wrong though. I haven't read like the manga in detail. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because like everyone encourages people. Everyone encourages people to like, yeah, you want to activate it and figure it out on your own. Because if people start to, It's one thing if people guide you, but it's another thing if people like. What did the guy say? Wing was saying like, yeah, if I do this thing to you, it's a 1 in a million chance that you survive absorbing my nen and then activating your own. So then going in a Killua went through that process, and obviously they're like 1 in 10 million, 100 million, or some shit, because they're that talented, and they happen to be friends. I am Riz, but this is my account. So you got the 3 accounts, my guy. Shout out to you, Riz. Shout out to you, Riz. Thank you for dropping in, man. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, Leorio's a real one too, bro. Like I remember when he ran from Hisoka and then he came back to fight. He's like, nah, bro, I can't. I gotta stay right here. Oh, this dude's crazy. I was like, didn't you just watch a dude kill people? But they wanted to run the fade with Hisoka, which is crazy. That's a really good show, man. They wrote it really well. Really good writing. Trying to get on that level, man. Tagashi level. That's one dude I look up to, Tagashi. I forgot his real name. What dude's real name? I forgot, bro. I rock with Tagashi though. But yeah. Then what's I talking about? Oh, Leorio, man. And he's like he's an emitter or something, right? He doesn't transmute, he doesn't manipulate, he doesn't he's an emitter. Yeah, so he emits his energy outwards. And it's funny because they're saying that emitters are like short tempered, and that's all Leorio does, man. He wasn't trying to hear nothing nobody says. That's why he got in the fight with Karapika in the first place. Because they was both on bullshit. They was both ready. That's crazy. Bro, they wrote that shit so well. And that was episode 1, if not 2. Because, if you watch the 90s one, that might have been like a later episode. Because I think if you watch the 90s one, they introduced Kite in the first episode. And the new one, which is, I think, better because it's like updated, fighting style and all that, or fighting graphics. I like it because, yeah, the fighting. I mean, the motions, right? Yeah. God damn. What time is it, man? Bro, I literally been out since what? Man, well, I'm trying to remember the last time I started the live, man. I was like 10 or 11 or something. I left the house. I think it was like 11. I've been out. I might just go home and do the Hollow Night. I'm like a block or two from the house. I'm like a block and a half. We're gonna find out soon. Hey, it's crazy, man. If y'all don't know, man, follow my guy Johnny Bongo right there, Chief Bongo. Hey, Chief, put your links, man. On your channel, because if you go to YouTube Studio, you can put your links in there. So put your TikTok in there. I know you're probably more active on there, on TikTok and some other stuff. So put your other links in there. Yeah, people go find Chief Bongo, man. Go rock with the Chief. Today we were talking about, what did I say the title was, man? It was community, the disruptions, trauma, and what I say, man? Oh, dead zones. I said dead zones because I thought I was gonna walk through a dead zone or lose reception, but I guess not. But I'm about to get back to the house, and that's a straight up dead zone, which sucks. So we'll find out in a second, man. I'll go home, might get something to eat. If I don't, I'm gonna just drink some water on some piccolo. But yeah, Leodoro is one of the best, man. Arodi, thank you for being there. Thank y'all for the last minute likes and tuning ins and whatnot, man. You feel me? There was my crows right here. Yeah, buddy. Let's go. A shout out to Johnny Bongo, aka Chief Bongo. I'm pretty sure they drop Beyblade content too. I don't know, maybe not on YouTube, but on other social medias. I don't exactly know. So shout out to you, bro. My God, that's why he's the mod. But yeah, not right now. Oh, I see. My bad. You don't do TikTok, but eventually make a new Chief Bongo YouTube channel dedicated to Beyblading and some PNW POVs. Ooh, yeah, man. Let me know. And he's about to be here next week, to my understanding. So let's try to document and get that in. You know what I'm saying? Document and get that in for these tournaments. I don't know what's going on with those org stuff. I don't know if you contacted them about what's going on. Then the people, hold on. I just realized, I think the people moved out of this house, man. That's crazy. People moved out of here. Let me, hold on. There we go. Yeah, but I moved out of here. Is that what it is? I swear to God, that's crazy, man. Yeah, just last week they had the window and the glass was like, I mean the little window thing up top. It was like broke. Like I ain't gonna say broken, but it was empty. It was like a hole. Like they busted out of that shit. And that shit empty. And now they're like painting it. I didn't want to flip the camera. I just saw mommy with the clappers, just standing there and doing the paint. No disrespect. No disrespect. And if I'm not mistaken, man, because I'm gonna post it right here. If I'm not mistaken, man, last time they had shit, I'm gonna on the edge, bro. Let me show you this, man. This right here. It's across from my house. It's a little this joint used to be CC's Burgers back then. I moved down in was it '06, and they had CC's Burgers from here from '06 to like what '08, '09. It might have shut down. That was pretty much my middle school career. But this corner, this intersection, man. Last time I seen a handful of dudes from the old days in the neighborhood. You know, they came back to visit because we had a what was it? They had a dude that passed away. I don't know if he actually lived in the house that they're remodeling right now. The one that I just showed that they were painting and shit. I don't know if the dude lived there, but they were saying some dude passed away that was from the block. Mind you, I live across the street. So then, like, what ended up happening was I'm walking home. I'm seeing hella people. I'm like, damn, where they? I seen this many people in a long time because this area is gentrified now. I saw one of my homies from middle school. We started chopping it up. I said, what's going on right here? Because they had all the candles out. Are you going to casuals? That's what's up, man. Represent. Represent out there, Chief. Good. Thank you for being here, as always. But everybody had the candles I just laid out. Letting the wax burn. And everybody was out there just doing burnouts and, burnouts, revving the engines and, bumping music. You know how it goes, man. Everybody had their rags out. You know how that goes. Having a moment. And I was sitting there like, it's kind of crazy because people don't, you don't do memorials where the situation happened no more. You do it somewhere else because if you do it at the situation, like I said in the last live, man, the memorials get shot up. It always happens. So you got to do it in the more, you got to lean towards peace. You do it where home is at. People still want to attack home though. That's the upsetting part. People still want to attack home. But yeah, let me get up out of here, man. Let me walk a little bit, man. Standing around bullshitting. The fuck? I'm gonna keep walking a bit. I'm gonna walk in a circle. Walk in a circle. You know? And what the fuck? I don't know, man. I ain't gonna sit there and shit on nobody's peace, but yeah, people are having their time of their lives today. I ain't even mad. Charging my phone in a second. Walking a circle right here. But yeah, I gotta get out of here, man. Get on a different time length and frequency. I don't want to be around that no more, man. Gotta grow up. Something, you know. Gotta just grow up and move on. Whatever. Feel me? Always take them back roads, man. Always taking them back roads. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up right there, man. I'm at 10% anyway. That's a sign. That soon. Anybody tuning in late? Anyone dropping in towards the end, man? Love y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace.